Welcome back, everyone, to Young at Heart. This is session number 95. I'm Father James DeLucio with the Paulist Fathers, ready to return. I'm back with nursery rhymes and other things to keep us young at heart. I've been exploring more fully our book, the Oxford Dictionary of Nursery Rhymes. And some might be repetitions of what I've shared before, but with a little more nuance and explanation. So, therefore, I also wish to say that one of the reasons I'm doing Young at Heart is to keep us in a sense of balance with so many tragic things going on in the news, particularly yesterday, the story of Juneteenth. I had never heard of it. We were never taught about it in school. What a scandal. And then, of course, with the attention on Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the terrible massacre of African Americans almost 100 years ago in that city, a prosperous black community that was resented by the white community and the Ku Klux Klan, and the National Guard went and burnt the town down. There were 300 deaths and people were displaced and homeless. We never learned about these things. And these are serious, and they're very important for us to grow more humble in our interactions with people, and to promote greater racial equality in our world, and particularly in our country, which is, what's the word I want? Our country's hypocrisies are becoming more and more evident. We could rage, how unfair, but far more better to just get humble and say, what can we do to repair? And that brings us back to, in addition to paying attention to all these things, we still need some silliness. We still need to have a sense of fun. We need to keep everything in a balance, because the sense of humor can help us address more profitably these more difficult and important issues. Even the Bible, the Bible always has to have a sense of balance. It has many contradictions, but they're there for a purpose. They're preventing us from going too extreme one way or the other. Their contradictions are meant to make us humble, to ponder, to go deeper, to accept a deeper sense of mystery. And there's a lot more humor in the Bible than we tend to acknowledge, because we want to take it so seriously. But even this divine word insists that we have a sense of humor. Wherefore, I have chosen to offer you Young at Heart, which is my last philosophical statement. It's always good to keep reinvestigating for ourselves why we do what we do, to find new ways of explaining and understanding ourselves and what it is that we offer to others. So therefore, to keep a sense of young at heart in all the more serious things, I continue with my presentation. Today's selection offers variations on some of our more familiar nursery rhymes. You remember the Ride a Cock Horse to Banbury Cross. It was devised specifically to taking a baby or toddler on one's knees and bouncing up and down, a great delight for children, and actually our invitation to the dance. It's our first physicalization in a rhythmic form to get us musical. And would we all be musical? I once heard a man say, if everyone took voice lessons, there'd be no wars. The competition in the music industry notwithstanding. Here's the variation. Ride a cock horse to Banbury Cross to buy little Johnny a galloping horse. It trots behind and it ambles before, and Johnny shall ride till he can ride no more. Nice, right? Nice, complete, compact. Now there's a variation on the one we know, Ride a cock horse to Banbury Cross to see a fine lady upon a white horse. Rings on her fingers and bells on her toes. She shall have music wherever she goes. In this variation, she's an old woman, and she has a ring on her finger and wears a bonnet of straw. The strangest old woman that you ever saw. Could it be a little misogyny in that variation? We need to be more careful here in 2020. So I'd go for the Johnny version or the original version. And then there's another about a little girl named Nancy. Ride a cock horse to Banbury Cross to buy little Nancy an ambling horse. It gallops before and trots behind, so Nancy may ride it until it turns blind. Speaking of good care of animals, here we have this one with a point and counterpoint. Let us investigate. Barnaby bright, he was a sharp cur. He always would bark if a mouse did but stir. But now he's grown old and can no longer bark. He's condemned by the parson to be hanged by the clerk. Well, here's a better response to that one. 'Tis pity poor Barnet, a vigilant cur, that used for to bark if a mouse did but stir, should being grown old and unable to bark, be doomed by a priest, be doomed by a priest to be hanged by his clerk. I pray, good sir, therefore, weigh right well his case, and save us poor Barnet. Hang Cleric in his place. Now that's recompense. Do you think it's going a little too far? Or we're right at the point. You see, we didn't hang the poor dog because he was condemned to be hanged, so it's future tense. And here, the threat is also future tense. Do you think the retort would help put everything in balance? Or would you come up with some other antidote to the problem? It is a sickness, though, isn't it? Cruelty to animals. And hey, we people, we don't like to be put out to pasture as we get older and older. Let's sigh. When I sigh, it's good for the soul. 2 times more. 3 is always good. One more time. Here's a funny, silly one. Barber, shave a pig. How many hairs will make a wig? 4 and 20, that's enough. Give the barber a pinch of snuff. He next met a barber with powder and wig. He'd play him a tune, and he'd shave an old pig. And then there was an old saying, popular in the 19th century. You can see if you understand it based on what we have just read. Carrying on the lamb business is scarcely better than pig shaving. So there. The barber shaved the mason, as I suppose. The barber shaved the mason and cut off his nose. And as I suppose, he cut off his nose and put it in a basin, the mason. As I suppose, the barber shaved the Quaker. And as I suppose, he cut off his nose and lapped it up in a paper. Do you think this was the inspiration for Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street? Perhaps it's around the same time period. Okay, let's try to end with something fun. Here we go. Ready? Bessy Bell and Mary Gray, they were 2 bonny lasses. They built their house upon the lea, and covered it with rushes. Bessy kept the garden gate, and Mary kept the pantry. Bessy always had to wait, while Mary lived in plenty. Oh, Bessy Bell and Mary Gray, they were twa bonny lasses. They biggit a bower on yon burn brae, and think it o'er with rashes. They think it o'er with rashes green, they think it o'er wi' heather. But the pest came frae the borough's town, and slew them baith together. They thocht to lie in Medvin kirkyard, among their noble kin, but they maun lie on Lenadoc brae, to beak forenent the sin. I don't understand that at all, but it's a little bit of beginning of modern English with a Scottish accent. Something to reflect upon. I'll read the commentary and share it with you next time. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Stay healthy. Keep safe. Wear your masks. And we'll be back together tomorrow. God bless. Bye, everyone. And off we go. Bye.